The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen and keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/Jack Welch MBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
Ford Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving takes the work out of being behind the wheel, allowing you to relax and reconnect, while also staying in control. Enjoy the drive in Blue Cruise-enabled vehicles like the F-150, Explorer, and Mustang Mach-E. Available feature on equipped vehicles. Terms apply. Does not replace safe driving. See Ford.com/Blue Cruise for more details.
This is Optimal Finance Daily. When you feel like you'll never get out of debt, things to consider by Jackie Beck of JackieBeck.com. Sometimes you look at the pile of debt in front of you and you're just tired. All you can think is, I'm never going to get this paid off. But you know what? Chances are that you can. The vast majority of people can if they stick with it, and you're probably not the exception. The flashpoints. Typically, there are 3 points at which you might feel like you're never going to get out of debt. When you're just getting started in the process, when you've been struggling to get out of debt for a while without making much progress, and when you're on the home stretch and that last big debt just seems to be taking forever. So if you feel this way or have ever felt this way, know that you're not alone. Know also that it is absolutely possible to get out of debt. People do it every single day. Recognize that feeling for what it is. So it's important to recognize that feeling for what it is. Either a need for more information and guidance or a desire to get that marathon over with. Chances are a solid plan is exactly what you need to turn that feeling of despair into success. If you hear that and you still aren't sure whether or not you could repay what you owe, email me and I'll be happy to plug your numbers into my debt app and give you some suggestions on how it could work. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's easy to get overwhelmed when you spend a lot of time thinking about your debt, especially if it's going to take you a while to get it paid off. So my advice in that situation, don't overthink it. That's right. Sometimes the best thing you can do when you're paying off debt is to focus on something other than your debt. You've just got to pick the right thing to focus on. And that means narrowing your focus a lot. How narrowing your focus can help. So what should you be focusing on if you're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of debt or the length of time it's going to take before you're debt-free? It's not how much you've got left to pay or how long it's going to take, that's for sure. It's whatever your next step is. That could be getting your budget set up, getting a $1,000 emergency fund going, or getting the money you're going to send to the next item in your debt snowball. Whatever it is, hyper-focus on that puppy, and only that. Celebrate every step you take toward that particular goal. Hyper-focusing works. When I was in junior high, I played clarinet and wanted to be first chair. The only problem was I was currently the worst clarinet player in the band, the last chair out of 13. But I had a goal. So I talked to my music teacher who told me that I could move up one chair at a time. To move up, I had to challenge the person ahead of me and play a piece of music better than them. So that first week, I worked on becoming just good enough to beat the person right next to me so I could move up one chair. If I tried to jump right to number 1, I'd have given up because that person was much, much better than me. It would have been overwhelming. But by being forced to focus on one step at a time, I ended up as second chair, only because the school year ran out before I could challenge the first chair. Getting out of debt works the same way. Just do the next step. Knock out one debt at a time on your debt snowball. Do everything you can to get that one debt paid off as quickly as possible. And if that debt is kind of huge and overwhelming like our mortgage was before we paid it off, then break it down even further. Focus on paying an extra $100 or $50 or whatever as quickly as you can. Don't look at the big picture unless you're looking back at how far you've come. Then celebrate the heck out of what you've accomplished so far and know that one day you'll be debt-free. The important thing is to keep going. If you're early in your journey, concentrate on how good you'll feel when your money is really your own. And if you're almost at the end of the debt marathon, for heaven's sake, keep going. You've already proven to yourself that you can do it, so don't let up now. If you can, put on some extra speed instead by selling something or taking on a bit of extra work. Recognize that feeling for what it is, being tired, and concentrate instead on the finish line waiting for you just ahead, because you can get there. You just listened to the post titled, "When You Feel Like You'll Never Get Out of Debt, Things to Consider," by Jackie Beck of JackieBeck.com. This message is brought to you by Apple Card. If you're like me, you might be considering getting a new iPhone. But have you considered upgrading your credit card? When you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay or the laser-etched titanium Apple Card, you can earn unlimited 3% daily cash back on everything you buy from Apple, whether it's a new iPhone, an iPhone case, or even a service like Apple Music or Apple TV Plus. Earning 3% back on the Apple products and services you love? It's an easy decision. You'll only wonder why you weren't doing it sooner. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This article reminded me of a conversation I had recently with a friend about entrepreneurship. When making decisions related to growing a business, it's sometimes hard to know if you're doing the right things. Every decision has an opportunity cost, and there's a lot of throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks. But this friend said something to me that I can't stop thinking about. He said, "What if you're already doing all of the right things, and it's just a matter of time?" I think that applies so well to paying off debt. And the huge difference between paying off debt and growing a business is that you have a sense of certainty that you're doing the right things. As long as you aren't taking on more debt, and even if you're just paying the minimum payment, you will eventually get out of it. It might take a long time, but you will pay it off. Now, the more you're able to pay beyond the minimum payment by increasing your income and reducing your expenses, the more you expedite your timeline. It's as simple as that. Knowing what to do is not the biggest challenge with debt payoff. Perhaps it's more about having patience and keeping your morale high. And a great way to do that, as suggested in this article, is to focus on one thing at a time. I highly recommend using a debt reduction calculator to keep yourself organized. You'll put all of your debts, interest rates, how much money you can throw at your debt each month, etc. And the calculator does all the hard work on the strategy. There are many free options online. Just search for Debt Reduction Calculator. And that's a wrap for another Monday show. Have a great rest of your day and start to your week. And I'll be back tomorrow as usual, where your optimal life awaits.